Hello, you wonderful people. So I want to take this video to kind of let you guys, get to learn a little bit more about me. So I'm going to tell you 10 random facts about me that you may or may not know. Some of these things are things I might have mentioned a lot, in great detail in the past, or maybe something I mentioned offhandedly, and some of it may be stuff you don't know at all. So number one, I mainly go by my middle name. In case you're curious, it's Michael. This is something I've brought up before, but it's just a preference thing. If you want to call me by my first name, which is Sean, I'm totally fine with it. I will respond to it. It's not like it's a foreign thing to me, especially because my mom, even to this day, but she's always done it, is she'll bounce back and forth between the two. She might call me Michael one minute and just call me Sean the next. Interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure she's the only person in my family that does that, because my dad always calls me just simply Michael. Pretty much everyone else does too, and it kind of worked like that in school too. They were it's just kind of a thing. It's it's write your name down. It's to me, Michael was just second nature, just because it's easier and I don't know, it sounded better to me than Sean, I guess, if I had to put a legitimate reason to it. I do kind of hate when it's when I have to sign stuff and it's put your first name. It's I don't go by my first name. It's is it right for me to put Michael there? I was no, it's not my first name, so I won't. So I always put Sean, even though I'd rather write Michael there, but I'll write Sean, which always in school led to that conversation of, oh, who's Sean? I thought your name was Michael. It is. Michael's my middle name. Sean's my first name. Oh, but I digress. Number two, I am left-handed. That's something I'm sure you might have noticed in my videos, because when I typically intro and outro a video, I always wave with my left hand. In some of my videos in the past, you'll notice I always kept a rubber band on my left hand too. So, left wrist, not my left hand, stupid. Which, that might not mean anything to you. You might have been oh, maybe you just chose to do it with your left hand, but there was a particular reason why I did it, just because it's more natural for me to wave with my left hand than it is my right hand. I always felt weird in school, especially the lower levels in elementary school, when you had to when the teacher would ask who needs the left-handed scissors. I always felt weird being that kid. It's yeah, I need the left-handed scissors, which is just because I didn't like being noticed and just kind of put you on the spot. Granted, there were other kids in the class who needed left-handed scissors too. Not a lot, but there were a few. But still, I kind of rather not stand out and be different. So sometimes I just take the right-handed scissors, switch to my left hands, and cut with them. Yes, it'd be a little weird and awkward, but it still got the job done. So number three, I am the youngest of three. I have two older sisters. We're actually pretty far apart in age. Not a lot, but a decent amount. My eldest sister, we're 10 or 11 years apart, and my second older sister, we're 7 to 8 years apart. So number four, I have worn glasses since the 3rd grade. If memory serves me correctly, that was the first year I started wearing glasses, is in the 3rd grade. I always broke my glasses, especially in elementary school. I broke them pretty frequently. I don't think I ever broke them I was about to say I never broke them in middle school. There was at least one time I broke them in middle school, and they broke pretty frequently in high school. So across up to this point in my life, I've probably had well over a dozen different pair of glasses. It's if you were to ask my mom, she'd tell you that was just a regular thing for me, always getting new glasses. But I've kind of got to the point I am better at, taking better care of my glasses now that I'm older. Personally, I don't have a problem with wearing glasses. Some people might prefer contacts or getting LASIK. Personally, contacts seems such a hassle. I don't like the thought of having to put a little lens on top of my eye like that. Some people would tell you it's something, once you get used to it, it kind of becomes second nature for you. But it's why go through all that hassle when I can just do this? So much easier. I could get LASIK, but it's to me, it's not that big of a deal. It's not wearing glasses impacts my life tremendously to the point it's spend a lot of money to get LASIK. I don't know. It works for some people. It's just, to me, it's not worth it. That's how I feel now. Maybe in the future I'll feel differently. Number five, I am afraid of heights. Well, I guess it's not really a fear of heights, more so a fear of falling to my death and hitting the ground hard. It's probably, to be more precise. I find it very interesting. I mean, it's not really by choice necessarily, but I live in a third floor apartment. The apartment I'm currently living in is on the third floor. This is actually the first apartment I've ever place I've lived in that has not been, you know, ground level. It used to kind of bother me a little bit when I first moved in here, but you know, I've kind of gotten better at it. I still kind of get that nauseous, queasy feeling in my stomach, and I kind of almost hyperventilate a little bit, like when I'm like, you know, usually it's only a problem when I look down. Staring off in the distance, it's not necessarily a problem. But granted, I've never been up like a great deal, like you know, like super high up. Usually heights really only affect me the most when I'm like on a ride, like at a theme park or a fair or whatever. That's why I don't really get on rides at all. That's one contributing factor. It's just a terrible time. Number 6, I don't like reading, specifically books. I make an exception for manga, because manga are more than just like words. They're words and pictures, and you know, there's an illustration to go along with it, and it makes it all that more enjoyable. You know, like but you take like a novel, for example, there's no pictures, it's just words, and it just, I don't know, it kind of sucks the fun out of it for me. I mean, if I were to, I think I've completely read maybe 3 books in my entire life. But I'm one of those people who will end up rereading the same sentence 7 times and still not understand what I'm reading, just because it's like I am bored out of my mind. It's like, oh yeah, and then he said, I don't care. So that's kind of like how I am when I read. So 7, I am from and currently live in North Carolina. I've lived here like, I guess 85% of my life. There was like a 2-year period where I lived in Georgia. So granted, I've mentioned this before, I've never went to everywhere there is in North Carolina. I've only been to a few select places and cities here in North Carolina. So even I don't have that full North Carolina experience. I guess other people might, but it's just, you know, it's an okay place. You know, my hometown it's okay. It's like a small little place, but you know, I mean, it's nothing to really brag about, but whatever. In case you are curious though, I am not currently living in my hometown. I haven't been back home permanently for going on 4 years now. So. Number 8, my favorite color is silver. I know it's weird to kind of throw in, you know, favorite colors as a thing, but it's just in case, just a random tidbit of information, just in case you were curious. And I don't know, you know, silver might not be in a category of like, I don't know, I've heard I told that to someone before, and they're like, silver doesn't count as a color for some stupid reason. I don't know, I kind of blocked them out when they were like, oh, silver doesn't, I blocked them out. It's just, I don't know why, I like it. I think it stems from when I was younger. There was a particular Power Ranger that I really liked. I don't even remember what Power Ranger series it was, because I will admit there were quite a few Power Ranger series I watched back in the day. I haven't watched any, you know, more recently. It's been a while since I've seen any, but it was like a platinum Power Ranger, so silver, that I really liked, so there's that. If I were to have a second and third favorite color, my second would be blue and my third would be green. I have this weird thing where I like the colors black, green, and white put together. I don't know, I'm not saying they have to be mixed together, but I like those 3 colors to be parallel to each other. I don't know why, it just looks aesthetically pleasing to me. Part of me thinks it stems from Ben 10 because of Upgrade. Upgrade is one of my favorite aliens for some reason, so I think it stems from that. It's a very kid-like reason to like those 3 colors, but it's my reason. So number 9, and this is a bit nerdy, is my favorite type of video games are RPGs, mainly Japanese RPGs. Like stuff like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Star Ocean, etc. I don't know what it is. It's just the characters, the stories. They're more fascinating to me. They compel me a lot more than maybe like. No, I don't have anything against first-person shooters or fighting games or anything like that. It's just like, I don't know, like JRPGs have always been my favorite thing since like the PlayStation. And then finally, number 10. At this point in time of me recording this, still don't know how to swim. I've talked about swimming in the past, specifically like a certain thing happened because I didn't know how to swim. And even, you know, even after that, you know, that video where I talked about that incident, I've still not bothered to learn how to swim, which is sad because there's literally 2 pools at the apartments I live at. There's an indoor pool and there's an outdoor pool, so there's like no excuse not to take the time to learn how to swim. I'm just lazy and don't care to. I guess granted you could say that certain thing that happened, anyone that never saw the video, it's basically I almost drowned when I was younger, so it makes me a little nervous to be around large bodies of water. Yes, it's very controlled, it's in a, you know, it's not that deep. I can literally stand in the deepest parts of the pools here, but it's like, I don't know, like it still makes me uneasy, so I haven't bothered to learn how to swim, and who knows if I ever will. So, because like I said, let's go back to the also lazy part. Learning how to swim means to take the time to do it, and I'm too lazy to do that. So, but that's about it. I don't know. This is kind of enjoyable. I don't know. Maybe I'll do more in the future. We'll see. If I do, I'll probably put them up every so often. So, but until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.